welcome to another episode of the Dugout Podcast. I am your co-host Andrew. I'm joined by my fellow co-host Marissa.
Hi.
Wow,
I was just looking at what his shirt said. A
Sorry.
wise man once said nothing.
is it the first time you've seen this shirt? I'm sure
Maybe the
it's
first
the
time
first
I
time in
noticed
a
it.
while. I think it's the first time in a while.
That's a good quote.
So should I take off my microphone and leave? you're trying to suggest to me because you're saying that a wise man.
That is a wise life quote. Has nothing to do with the podcast, but a very wise life quote.
I see. Anywho, viewers, welcome back. Welcome back, Marissa. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So on the agenda this evening, we are looking at Newcastle, ending the 70-year wait for the Domestic Trophy, followed by some European action, some recap of the Champions League and Europa League fixtures, and our usual leaderboard and Premier League predictions. So let's start with the Carabao Cup final on Sunday. Newcastle trumps Liverpool 2-1. Now, based on the scoreline, you may not think that, trumps is the appropriate word.
Mm-hmm.
But trust me, trumps is apropos. Newcastle dominated, crushed, wiped the floor with Liverpool. I think a 4-1 scoreline or maybe 5-1 might have been more, it might have been more accurate reflection of how proceedings went. You want to go first or you want me to?
I'll go first because I ain't got much to say because I didn't watch the game. I only watched the goals. But I remember when because I got home late on Sunday. And I was just following on Google and stuff. And I saw Newcastle was up 2-0. I was like, what? Like, my eyes actually opened wide. I was like, what? So that was like, and then my next thing was to check the stats. Because I'm like, probably get 2 fluke goals or something. And when I look at the stats, like you say, like, Newcastle, like, was all over one of based on stats. I know stats sometimes can be misleading. But I was like, more shots on target. I was like, what is happening? And then I kept checking and seeing if y'all would get into it. And 70 minutes passed, still 2-0. 80 minutes passed, still 2-0. 8 minutes at added time, still 2-0. But then I saw that y'all got a goal in like 90 plus 4. Yeah. And I'm like, I was shocked by the result. Because I think when we predicted, we both said 3-1 Liverpool. We thought it was we were disrespecting Newcastle, but we felt, based on their form and everything, but wow. Really good Isak goal, really good Dan Burn header, I must say. Marking is a little suspect, but I'll let you get into the nitty-gritty and then I'll ask you my questions that I have for you.
Sure. Alright, so Newcastle. Congrats on Newcastle. I'll start there.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
They were well worth their victory. Congrats on ending the 70-year wait for the Domestic Trophy. Quite an accomplishment. We'll see if they can kick on after this big result for them. In terms of the game, like I said, Newcastle were full value. In many ways, Newcastle probably deserved more than just a 2-1 scoreline. From the time the game started, Newcastle was, like you said, all over Liverpool, like a rush. They were quite direct in terms of their approach. A lot of long balls, a lot of crosses into the box. And they made the game scrappy. It was like a stop-start affair in a sense because they had a lot of fouls and most of the time Liverpool were the team conceding fouls, which meant that Newcastle was still able to get the ball in the box. Now, what I would say about the total of shots, I felt as though Newcastle were actually more dangerous in the second half, at least in terms of fashioning more clear-cut opportunities. The first half, they had a lot of shots, they were going in a lot of dangerous positions, and they were the only team that were kind of in it. But I wouldn't say that Kelleher was being overworked necessarily in that first half. At least to me, I thought the quality of chances for Newcastle would have increased come second half rather than first. But the important thing that Newcastle did was that they scored before the halftime break. I think 0-0 at halftime, maybe Liverpool regroup, but we'll never know. But that goal right before halftime really gave Newcastle a well-deserved lift. Momentum. Second half, the first 5 minutes, Liverpool did a couple of things differently and were able to play through Newcastle's press because that's something that Newcastle did really well. They really pressed well and they were extremely aggressive. And Liverpool just couldn't cope. Couldn't get any rhythm going. Racely passing game wasn't going. McAllister was anonymous. One of his, I would say, his poorest game that I've seen in the Liverpool since he arrived. Cameron Birch didn't have any effect on the game. Now they shot Slay. Well, he worked hard, but just couldn't get over the ball and pass it. Well, Jota was over the game because he wasn't winning anything in the year, even when Liverpool went direct to him. Diaz, again, over the game, didn't have his best game either. And Salah was on the margins. Having to come deep for the ball, not really, I think in this game for sure, Liverpool definitely missed Trent because with Newcastle's press, if Virgil's not passing the ball accurately enough from deep, Trent can also offer that option. And that was something that they missed. But yeah, when I was
he was injured or something?
Yeah, he got injured in the PSG game.
Oh,
just his ankle. Unfortunately. But anyhow, yeah, second half, Liverpool had a nice little fizz for like 2 or 3 minutes. I'm not saying it was sustained. Definitely wasn't. So Liverpool had like more like little moments, little brief moments of where they played through the lanes and got in good positions. As the second half wore on, then they started to get a bit more joy in terms of shots on goal. But Newcastle were always in control because, especially when the score went to 2-0. But going back a little bit, the header you mentioned, poor marking. I don't think it was. I can't say it was poor marking.
In terms of personnel.
I think Newcastle were clever. Newcastle were clever though.
Okay.
But yes, in terms of personnel, okay. So, as Arnold explained it, you could understand what Liverpool normally do at defensive set pieces. He said that Canadian and Brown didn't really box, and then he has some guys literally on the edge of the area, man marking, and their job I guess is to block the run from the opponent or what the case may make it difficult. And like he said, because Dan Burn headed the ball from quite a fair distance, so normally that header from that far wouldn't necessarily trouble the keeper either. But I think McAllister lost. He kind of looked at the ball, looked at Dan Burn, and lost where he was a bit, and that's what allowed Dan Burn to get the run on him. It was a really good header, like you said. I think where some people might be critical of Slot was that was in the first set piece where McAllister struggled to mark or struggled to prevent Dan Burn from getting a clear run at the ball. So maybe switch, not necessarily about it, Kanate come out and mark it, but maybe put somebody else, so Shopper Slayer, somebody a bit taller. Let's see. Lucho, maybe Robertson, maybe Sim Kwanzaa. Somebody, but yeah, like you said, maybe switch the personnel. Second half, again, Newcastle's second attack. Actually, Liverpool got bailed out because Newcastle did score a goal that was offside. And I can argue, I know the argument is that can't remember who the player was, but somebody was in an offside position. Michael saved the ball, but it wasn't Isak. But I could argue that that person being there didn't necessarily put off Gallagher from making the save anyhow. So Newcastle could have felt hard done by to get that goal chalked off, but rules are rules.
Yeah.
Second goal was in. Like you said, good finish from Isak. I thought Robertson needed to be stronger there, in the air. But nevertheless, and then from there, sort of made some substitutions trying to get a spark out of the players. But like I said, it was little flickers. It was never sustained. Yeah, Newcastle deserving winners.
How much do you think Wednesday?
It was Tuesday.
How much do you think that had an effect on them?
It's difficult to say because I can't say that I don't think Liverpool did not try. Because when you say didn't turn up, that has a lot of competitions to it, right? I wouldn't say they didn't try. I thought the effort was there, but they missed the quality, and I felt as though the aggression didn't match Newcastle's aggression intensity, and that was basically the difference. That was really different. So then they never got, because you're always told that if a team is ultra aggressive, ultra direct. For example, look at the Merseyside Derby, for example, earlier at Goodison Park. Obviously, a much better performance than what they showed tonight, on Sunday. But they match for the most of it. They were able to match and at least compete with that aggression, with that physicality. And they never. I know Newcastle was pumped, but they never got grips with it, and Newcastle never dropped off the intensity either. Joe Linton was good. Gomaris was good. Tonali was exceptional. Dan Burn was good. Isak was always a threat, as you can imagine. Harvey Barnes. And I felt as though, and that was another reason that I didn't think Newcastle would win, because I felt the Gordon or Harvey Barnes changed because Gordon couldn't play because of suspension. I felt like that would have worked in Liverpool's favour based on the fact that I think Harvey Barnes is quite a level or two below.
Yeah, most people did. Most people did think that. Yeah, that was a tough loss for Newcastle.
Yeah, so I mean, but yeah, so how much did from physical standpoint? I don't think so. From mental standpoint, potentially maybe there was a hangover after such a disappointing result at home. But yeah, they never got going, and they definitely were not as aggressive and as intense in their approach as Newcastle, and they never turned it on. Yeah, and they were deservedly beaten.
But the other thing I was thinking about too is that you had, what was their last league game? Southampton.
Southampton, yes.
So you had the first PSG game, which I think most people, even the most loyal Liverpool fan, can say that y'all escaped with that 1-0 victory at the wherever the stadium is called.
Party Prince.
Thanks. And then the game after that was Southampton. Had a little scare when Southampton scored first. Right. Shook a half time. I mean, nobody really thought that was going to end anything differently. But I still think it was a bit of a surprise for Southampton to going 1-0 up.
Right.
Then you had the PSG game at home. And I thought, personally, I know I told you I felt PSG were going to go through, but I still felt personally that despite y'all having y'all chances, PSG played well on the night. I would say that they deserve to go through. My humblest opinion. Mm-hmm. And then you had this game. So do you think Liverpool... I think the title is gone. I think that's a foregone conclusion. But do you think that they're kind of stumbling at a similar point that they stumbled last season?
There are, because since the turn of the year, the form has been a bit patchy. In terms of the level of performance hasn't been as consistent as it was in the first half of the season. I would concede that. Where this game is a surprise though is that even when they had the all set, and normally before the setbacks were draws, as opposed to necessarily already defeats. So, but the difference is that normally the next game was better performance. You had it in the first leg of the Carabao Cup against Tottenham, they bounced back. You had it in a couple of league games where they did drop points. No, Arsenal didn't capitalize necessarily, but they still bounced back. Yeah. And like you said, have a quite commanding lead at this stage. So there are, I think, a couple things that I noticed, or at least I was reflecting on. I will not go against what I said originally that, Klopp did leave a decent enough squad for Slot to at least compete. No keywords didn't compete. But to think that Liverpool would have actually already won, that would have been a surprise.
It's true.
What I realized though, and again, time will tell, because this Slot's first season, and I guess we're still getting used to how he operates. There hasn't been much rotation, especially since the turn of the year. First half of the season, he was rotating a bit in certain positions. So, for example, Simicus versus Robertson, sometimes he would rotate between Trent and Bradley occasionally, and then it was kind of enforced with the injuries. But notice that Konate and Van Dijk always play. He was rotating between Jota and Nunes, but again, injuries kind of pushing in one direction. Now he was rotating between Diaz and Gakpo as well, but for the most part, our midfield trio of Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Gravenberch have played all games. Salah has played almost every game virtually. Jones has had his moments, but injuries and different things have meant that it seems like he's gone back to the usual front midfield trio. So there hasn't been much rotation, and it almost looked like I was getting the sense that over the last few games, Gravenberch, for example, more so, even McAllister on occasion, have been struggling a bit in terms of fatigue. At least it looks like from the onset or from the outside looking in. So I think like in the summer, and Liverpool obviously will invest in squad in the summer. I think we'll have a better idea as to, is it a case where these are just the 14, 15 that he generally trusts, or is it a case where he's a manager that, given a stronger squad, might offer a bit more rotation or what's not. Because I do feel like, yes, they've done well. Sometimes some of these substitutes have done well. In Nunez and Elliott, for example, have done well when they have come on at times. But it's a hard ask to ask certain players to play every single game, and then it's a hard ask to ask substitutes to come on and immediately have an impact all the time without any rhythm, without necessarily playing. No, Harvey Elliott was sharp when he came on and didn't make an impact. I thought Jones had his moments as well. He is another one who has already had a look in. But I feel like that's more of the long-term plan in terms of this season, get him fit, and then next year probably use him a bit more. But yeah, so there's there seems to be signs of fatigue, and I think the good thing for Liverpool is that they have a substantial lead.
Yeah.
Not unassailable, but it'd be far fetched to think that
Yeah.
they wouldn't see it home from here.
Yeah. But their last point is kind of related to my last question about Liverpool and January, because I saw some people online talking about it, and I thought it was an interesting point. They highlighted how, because y'all didn't buy anybody in January last year either, right? Right.
This year or
last year too?
On the clock. No, we didn't.
Right. So they highlighted how the team faltering at a similar point, and it wasn't refreshed in January. It faltered at this point. So then it's like, yes, y'all started season well, but should the owners have looked at last season and saw how you guys kind of faltered post January, and maybe kind of did the same analysis that you've done, where he seems to have a core that he trusts and there's not a lot of rotation, should they then have looked to strengthen the squad a bit in January to add maybe more energy, some fresh legs, different types of personalities in the dressing room? Right. Would that have helped?
Okay, so again, hopefully Slot is the type of manager and learns, because lessons will need to be learned. Right. I think because he did mention, because based on what listened to him or listened to his interviews, and he's spoken about how he likes to operate in terms of squad size or what's not. He seems to fancy a tighter, smaller squad. Right. So that's him 15, 16 players the most in terms of that he's going to predominantly use unless injuries occur. But obviously Dutch league is a but kind of weaker league, or at least considered a weaker league than in England. So maybe there's not such a volume of difficult games that he has to play now. So considering that to be the case, he maybe make an adjustment and maybe decide that he wants to rotate a bit more. The other thing I'll mention is, yes, is around the same time that Liverpool started to stumble a bit last year, fell away from each other race, and also exited the Europa League and the FA Cup competitions. But I would say, for example, that those were under significantly different circumstances to a certain degree. Because whereas this year it seems to be fatigue of certain key players and a little bit of dip in form. Last year on the clock, the FA Cup result against Man United should never happen. That was just not taking chances and keeping Man United in the game, and Man United was able to snatch it from, in my estimation.
I agree. Yes.
But the other games, like the Atalanta as a Europa League, and then he followed the Premier League title race. If you remember, Liverpool had a lot of injuries around that time. So Trent was kind of coming back from injury. Salah was coming back from an injury. Because remember, he got injured after a couple of nations, came back, got injured again, and then was out for, Kanata was coming back from a little knock as well, I believe, injury-wise. So there were a few of them that were coming back from injuries. Nunez was as well. And it was like almost like coming back and having to hit the ground running immediately was a bit too much. And I feel as though that's what happened last season. That contributed to as well as wanting to do it before, obviously, because the manager was leaving. And it was like almost like felt like an immense pressure that the club and the team had put on themselves. So I feel all those things considered, that it was a different circumstance. But I think this year, again, not sending players in January, because remember, Bradley and Gomez were coming back. So when January transfer window was happening, it's always hindsight, it's always 2020. It was like, we don't necessarily need to sign anybody. But at the same time, they came back and got injured again. So then, it becomes a bit more of a problem. But we'll see. I definitely expect Liverpool to strengthen. There's still a cloud over those contract situations. Van Dijk saying that he himself does not even know what's happening. But yes. Straight up, yes. Everybody fancying trying to leave. And
at this stage, I fancy all of them to leave.
Kind of, like the longer it goes on, the more doubtful you're becoming.
Yeah.
But I don't fault. How do I put it? Remember, I explained in an earlier show, kind of why the contract negotiations started so late, because it was like an upheaval at the club in terms of backroom stuff and stuff like that. But I can't say fault the club if nobody resigns, and here's why. Liverpool doesn't have the unlimited resources of a Man City or PSG, for example. We just can't, especially in Van Dijk and Salah's case, because both of them are 30 plus. Salah's 32, going to be 33 in June. Van Dijk will be 34 in August. I feel as though, yes, we want to give them a fair price, but I feel as though you can't fault Liverpool for being a bit unwilling to play over the odds for players that are.
I understand, and that's one thing about y'all. Even players in their prime, y'all never ever pay more than what you think a player's worth, and I respect that a lot.
And here's the thing: I'm not even saying that because I'm not even saying that. Yeah, expect Salah or Mane. I mean, it could happen. It might not happen. Who knows? But I'm not saying that I expect them to have a significant drop off towards this next phase of the career.
Right.
But it's a chance. It's a gamble.
Mm-hmm.
So it got to be something where if that was to happen, the club doesn't come out, looking too bad.
Right.
So there's a lot of ifs and buts and maybes, but we'll see.
It's true.
But definitely for sure, I think the squad will be a more earnest slot squad next season. And we'll see that with.
Yeah, we will. Especially as defending Premier League champions. All right, so let's move to our next segment, which is Champions League. So I will give a roundup of the results and who's going through, and then I guess we could pick and choose any particular team or result you want to focus on. So Benfica, nonsense. Barcelona beat Benfica 3-1 to win 4-1 on aggregate, so they go through. Inter beat Feyenoord 2-1 to win 4-1 on aggregate. PSG won 4-1 on penalties, so they go through. Bayern Munich beat Leverkusen 5-0 on aggregate. Dortmund beat Lille 3-2 on aggregate.
Mm-hmm.
And it was looking a little dicey there because Lille took the lead in that game. I was like, look, Andrew, like, he's spot on, but Dortmund did well in the second half. And Villa beat Bruges 6-1 on aggregate. Arsenal beat PSV 9-3 on aggregate. And Madrid won 4-2 on penalties against Atletico Madrid. So we have our quarterfinals: Bayern versus Inter, Arsenal versus Madrid, Barcelona versus Dortmund, and PSG versus Aston Villa.
Right. Well, I think the segment. Well, I still won't go through all the games. Which
Not really. No.
I think the segment was just because I think before this phase started, Liverpool were being talked about as the favourites because of how well they did overall in domestically and in the league phase.
Mm-hmm.
So now Liverpool have suffered a deserved exit, and I would agree. I think Liverpool won at home against PSG against at Anfield. I think for 90 minutes, I think Liverpool were better team in the 90 minutes of normal time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Liverpool, as a result, that in terms of 90 minutes of football, second leg, I think to lose that game 1-0 was a bit unjust, but I think in second half extra time for sure.
Yeah, boy, PSG
really stepped up. Yeah. I think PSG should have had a better impact on the rhythm of.
I mean, almost scored
than
in the minute he came on
than Liverpool. So as the extra time wore on, it looked like Liverpool were the team that was waiting a bit more for penalties. But again, I agree. As a balance, over the 180 minutes, they deserve. They actually probably deserve to share it a bit. But the second leg, I must say, it was an excellent game.
It was.
Really was a good game.
Can't believe it was just 1-0.
Yeah. In terms of both games.
Crazy.
But for one, Liverpool maybe deserve a draw. I would have said maybe deserve a draw. If not to win outright in the 90 minutes in the second game. But not Liverpool have that into the competition. Who is the favourite? I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Damn it. I actually think this Champions League is going to be keenly contested. I think it's kind of even. I think there are a lot of good teams, and it could depend on a lot of different things. Referee decisions, injuries, form what he did. But I would say I kind of like the look of PSG.
They definitely look like they're not the PSG that I am used to, for sure.
But I wasn't even comparing them to that because so I remember I watched their game against Arsenal earlier in the season when they weren't playing as well. I watched their game against City when they started to improve a bit, and I was like, okay, this is definitely a dangerous team. Consider them dangerous. I didn't think that they would have been as good against Liverpool, especially at Anfield, because although Liverpool were the better team in 90 minutes, not taking anything away from PSG, I felt there were moments in the second half where PSG started to express themselves and started to play football too.
For sure.
Which shows the character of the side. So their team now, in addition to talent, they have a lot of steel. There's a bit of greatness about them as well. So I think they're dangerous, and I think from that end of the side of the bracket, I think it'll be PSG or Real Madrid in the final.
Mm-hmm.
And from the other side of the bracket, I am looking
So
at...
it's going to be like... So Arsenal, Madrid, PSG, Villa, they play each other.
Yes,
okay.
So, yeah, you kind of already know who's going to play who.
I ain't getting that far.
No, I mean in terms of who winner of plays which one.
Right. Okay.
So I expect the semi-final for sure will be PSG Real Madrid. I am thinking PSG beat Aston Villa. I'm thinking Real Madrid get past Arsenal.
Get past.
Fair enough. If you want to use a stronger word, that's fine. And from the other side of the draw, I think I actually fancy Barca. So I think Barca will be in the final.
Mm-hmm.
I think Barca's opponent would be either PSG or Real Madrid. Yeah.
Oh, an El Clasico Champions League final.
I think if it's Real Madrid in the final, I actually think Barca might win. Which would be good for them. But if PSG get the final, I think that might be a more tighter game to call.
Well, according to Lamine Yamal, now that Liverpool is out, he thinks Barcelona are favourites.
I would say that. Yeah.
I don't disagree. I think I could tell you who aren't favourites.
Arsenal.
You won't go. But I think I agree with everything you said. I think Real Madrid PSG, if that happens to be the semi-final, is going to be a really interesting game because
great game.
Honestly, like you said, what you said about PSG sums it up perfectly. There's a steel and a grit to them that they don't look flimsy. They look strong, and I think the addition of the Georgian fellow whose name I can't pronounce in January was a good signing for them. Yeah, very good.
I've been practicing.
He's been a good signing for them. So PSG really do look dangerous. I would say that they are my dark horses. And yeah, I think on the other side, Barca for me for sure.
So the point I want to make. What was it?
About Arsenal?
No. I ain't got nothing to say about Arsenal right now. I mean, maybe we could dedicate a show for Arsenal because, right, honestly, Arsenal social media fan pages, put it that way, folk calling out certain groups or entities. There've been so many like narratives that just sound salty, right? That would just hurt people. Like this has been the worst Premier League season ever. There've been a lot of different things that they have been saying, but I have nothing to say about Arsenal right now. That was my point.
I do actually. I think after and far be it from me to come to Liverpool's defense because I wasn't broken up. Y'all lost. I mean, sad for you, but not broken up as a football fan.
It wasn't sad for me. It was
disappointment, right? But I know fans will banter and throw shade, but the way I saw Arsenal fans throwing shade at Liverpool, I'm like, have some shame. Liverpool are at least gonna win a trophy this season. Right. So it's like
they have a lot of work to do. Ain't sure I did. Yeah.
I mean, come on, like, no, it wasn't the time for Arsenal fans to come forward, but I mean, they think they have a chance against Real Madrid. I mean, like you said before we came on air, Arsenal seem to forget that they just ain't scoring goals.
The only chance that I give them, and this is the reason why I wouldn't say that they have a chance because, like you said or mentioned, I said they're not scoring goals in plenty right now. But the only chance that I give them is that Real Madrid have also had their injury troubles this year.
It's true.
So would I blame? But again, no, because Arsenal have their own injury troubles.
Yeah.
Saka might be back for that fixture, but is he gonna come back and hit the ground running?
Probably not, because is he gonna have enough time to build up match fitness before then too?
Correct. So yeah, I don't look at that as a game that I fancy Arsenal because I think Real Madrid have the greater firepower. I think Real Madrid will do enough for that,
And that's the key. That's the key. I mean, yeah, they do have a solid defense, but when you look at the teams that are left and their attacking prowess, Bayern, Barca, Madrid, PSG, even Villa. When you look at those teams will score goals. I'm not sure Arsenal have the firepower to really propel them to a Champions League title. That's just, I ain't being bitter. That is just my honest assessment.
Fair enough. And one that I share.
Yeah.
So, and just to touch on, we're not really Champions League, I'm predicting Real or PSG in the final.
Same for me.
I'm not going to go as far to predict who I think will win over yet because there's still a very, very long way to go. Just to add or switch gears a little bit. Europa League,
Yeah.
the English sides that competed, which with Tottenham and United, are still in European action. So some good results for those teams on Thursday. I watched the United Sociedad game, and United really, I guess Ratcliffe's comments about the squad really lit a fire under their backside because no, seriously, their performance against Sociedad was intense. They were organized, they were structured, they had a bit of bite in the attack as well. Yeah, so like even watching, I know Leicester have been poor this season, but even watching the Premier League game on Sunday, I know it's Leicester, so I'll wait to reserve judgment. But just for example, Zerski and Hoyland, the players that were kind of questioning, like, are they really good enough for Man United? They looked a lot better. But we'll see. We keep on watching.
Lyon is going to be a test, though. I think Leon. Lyon.
That's what they're pulling.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
Frankfurt.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah, okay. I think the two English clubs, to me, have the tougher opponents. I think I haven't watched much of Frankfurt at all, actually. I don't know much of their players, but I know Lyon have some good forwards.
Right.
And I think Man United are decent defensively, so I think it's going to be a good matchup. I still fancy Lyon to go through, though, from that. Tottenham are Tottenham, so God only knows. Yeah. But who plays who in the semifinals there in the...
I haven't really been checking Europa League, so we can always come back to that.
Yeah.
when the competition resumes.
Yeah.
But just to mention something on Tottenham, what do you think about this quickly? I saw that Pochettino made a comment saying that he'd like to manage Spurs again. What are your thoughts? The plead me fifth. You're not going to entertain that nonsense?
Honestly, right?
Yes, please.
When Poch was first hired as Chelsea manager, I know a lot of Chelsea fans hated it because of his Spurs connection. And for me, I was willing to give it a chance. But for him to come out as so less than a year after leaving Chelsea just got my blood boiling. Because I'm like, but this is as, and then let me caveat that by saying he had a lot to say about connecting with the fans and how he's not going to fake it and stuff. And I get all that. But then coming out and saying that about going back to Spurs, which I understand, you were there for longer and you have a better connection there. But after everything that was leveled about you, about not connecting with the fans, and then coming out and saying that, it makes me think that he hard like it when he wasn't in that job. So I'm not surprised by the comments, but they annoy me a bit, I must say. Because to me, it was basically proving a lot of Chelsea fans right about him.
You're correct, and I don't blame you for feeling that way. I think that would be my feeling too. Like, okay, that was just a stopgap. You just took the job because it was a big club, and
you won't have no other opportunities, and I don't like that. So, whatever, you could go back there.
Right. So I think now we'll take a break for a word from our
sponsors. Yes. Whole Health Pharmacy, located in Jordan's Complex, Speightstown, St. Peter, carries a variety of products to take care of you and your health. Essential oils, muscle rubs, and the run-of-the-mill medications. And definitely don't forget your vitamins. Vinci Sea Salt, air humidifiers, tumblers, and women's havens pads too. We got it all for you. Don't forget your Barbados and natural Vinci snacks. So for sure you're gonna keep coming back. Ever hear about structured water? Well, tell your son, tell your daughter. Whole Health Pharmacy. More than a pharmacy, we take care of you and your health. are back. So our final segment is our much anticipated leaderboard.
Correct.
Much anticipated. So this week I got 12 points, and I will caveat that by saying probably only because I got like 3 correct scorelines. Because I didn't have a good prediction week outside of getting 3 correct scorelines.
Okay.
So I got 12 points and you got 7 points. So yeah, that's where we're at. So my lead is now I have 62 points and you have 49. 13 point gap.
I think I can see.
Who's more ahead, Liverpool or me? 15? You are 15?
No, 12. Arsenal won the game, against you won the weekend.
Oh, that was the game, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, Chelsea boy.
So yeah, you have
continue
a point.
To disappoint.
More than Liverpool does.
Okay.
But I am gonna do what Arsenal fans refuse to do.
You conceding?
I concede at this stage.
Crying. I don't take it over yet though.
I hear you.
I ain't take it over yet. But
listen, you feel like you treat me when I watch your Arsenal?
No, I being humble, man.
You really feel like I let it kill me?
Look, I could still have a bad week. But yeah, let's get into some predictions.
We're still predicting. Remember that this weekend is national break.
Oh yeah.
So I know.
Let me check.
I know for you, I would be the predict scores before.
It's true. God knows what could happen in his national break, injuries and all that. So we back here today, Zero.
Today is the
18th
of March, yes.
So we basically back when the Prem is back, April 1st.
April 1st, yeah. I know there's a midweek. I think I play Everton on the Wednesday.
Yes. I play Spurs on the Thursday and City. So it's only... So by the time we come here... the clock's getting back too. Praise Jesus. Yeah. By the time we come here, Spurs and... not Spurs. Arsenal and United would have played their games. But okay, we could leave you predictions for then. That might be a busy week because they're playing midweek and they're playing the weekend too. Interesting. So yeah, we could do the predictions then. Some interesting fixtures. But how much points? How much win? Y'all did that? They did that calculation yet? Where they figure out how much more wins y'all need?
Yeah, I just need.
I know one could be against me.
I just need 5 or 6 wins from the last night.
5 or 6 wins.
Because the most points Arsenal get is 85, I believe. So I on 70, so I just need. Let's say 5 wins and a draw. I just need 16 more points.
I think I saw. I know I ain't not getting finals now, but I think I saw a graphic where y'all could either win the title against us or United, right? Is that true?
I don't play United again.
So who's that other side? Alright, let me look at your fixtures quick.
You or it might be Tottenham. But
some big side though.
Yeah, but I think it might be. I think if I don't drop any more points, I can win it against you. Once Arsenal doesn't either, and then I think the next game after being crowned champions potentially could be at home to Arsenal, where they'll have to give me credit.
Oh gosh, I would prefer that. Because I here thinking, do I prefer you to win it against me or I have to do a guard honor? I prefer neither. Let me see though. So we have, you said, so how much points did you need?
16.
16, okay. So let's say you beat Everton, that's
73.
Right, so that would leave 13. Beat Fulham, that would leave 10. Beat West Ham, that would leave 7. Beat Leicester, that would leave 3. 4. Beat Spurs. Shoot, it could be against me. But, oh no, Jesus, Lord, don't do that.
I would caveat that by saying I don't think we win all those games. I think Liverpool drop points somewhere along in that stretch, maybe a draw.
I can't see where though, because I mean the Everton game is at home, the Fulham game is away, West Ham is at home.
And it's after 2 bad results.
It's true, but at least it's not early, so I had to kick off.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I get that. But to me, these are very winnable fixtures. Even the Spurs game, which could be a little dicey, is at home.
Yeah, they're winnable fixtures. I think because the trouble that Arsenal had was that like 7 of my last 11 games were at home.
Yeah.
I mean,
including against them.
Too, but
yeah. But she's done so. It's either y'all win it at Stamford Bridge.
Let's see what happens.
So this is my dilemma, right?
We'll see what happens.
It's either win it against Stafford, win it at Stafford Bridge, and then they go laugh at Arsenal game when I got the honor. Or take points off a winner and then win it at Arsenal. I prefer that. Yeah, I prefer that.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Chelsea, do the job.
I really don't care how Liverpool win it. Just make sure that you do.
Yeah, you will do.
Just make sure.
Oh gosh, that Chelsea Liverpool game.
Having that parade ain't it?
That Chelsea Liverpool game is 4 days before my birthday.
Oh, you a nice birthday present.
Oh, gosh, Chelsea. Nah, though. I bet Chelsea will do some nonsense just to depress me. Oh gosh, but honestly, Liverpool have deserved it. They have been. I don't buy this nonsense about it hasn't been a good. If you really be objective as a fan, you look at how Bournemouth are playing, Brentford, Fulham. I think it's been a really good lead. Look at what Brighton. I thought Brighton had their chances to win against City on Saturday.
Right. I didn't get to see that game.
Yeah, I watched it. And I'm like, when you look at the league as a whole, in terms of how competitive it has been, it's been a good season. I don't buy this crap about it's not been a good season.
Listen, that is just Arsenal. Listen, I would accept that the terrorists that we were kind of, I guess, neutral was hoping for didn't materialize because City fell away, Chelsea fell away, and then Arsenal with the injuries at the start of the year fell away. More Arsenal fans, narrative that they will spin that they can't spin around me is that when they had the injuries and they fell away, Liverpool, or we had a kind of healthy league.
Yeah, exactly.
It was never less than 7 points. It was all 7, 8, 9 points.
Exactly.
So yes, it's at a risk that people were hoping for. Then it doesn't look like it's going to materialize unless Liverpool start to drop a lot of points between now and next month, for example, which I don't think will necessarily be the case. But that's the only reason that they're saying that. But it still has been the same old Premier League, good matches, good competitiveness.
Yeah, really, really competitive.
Yeah. But people will say that,
when their team doesn't win, they try to do anything to disqualify the season, pretty much.
And then, the argument would be, well, the whole Liverpool playing now, if those teams had been strong, the usual self, then
they could have capitalized. Maybe, yeah.
Or put pressure on Liverpool and hold Liverpool react.
True.
So, if it would have, maybe should have.
All
we know is what happened and what transpired. So you said Liverpool have been, for the most part, a picture of consistency. Lost 1 game all season in the league.
That's really good. Against Nottingham
early. Had a really good season.
And that was early on in the season too.
I think.
Yeah, it was really early. Really early. Yeah. But one last thing though, I'm glad you mentioned that thing that you said about Arsenal injuries because I remember what game it was. It was a Sky Sports covered game where they were covering. Gosh, what was the game? I think was it the United game? Anyways, I think it was the United game. And Paul Merson was on, and he played for Arsenal, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And he was talking about Arsenal injuries and stuff and blah blah blah. They always want to talk about Arsenal's injuries, but what somebody came in the comments, maybe it was you, that when the comments and say, because the person said the exact same thing. The person said what people are failing to recognize is that Arsenal started to fall away long before Saka, Havertz, Martinelli, all those got injured. And I find there's a lot of revisionism going on because, for the first season, the challenge, it was, City was just better. No, the first season challenge, it was when they blew the 7 point, right? Right.
It was Saliba got injured.
Right, so it was the Saliba injury and it was inexperience. They'll come better next season. Last season, they do the jump too. They had excuses then.
Yeah. They won like 40, I think they won like 40 over the last season.
Right, but
they lost at home last season.
Right, but remember for the first half.
Yeah, they were.
Right. So they had the excuses too, and then remember this year was the year they kick on, and now they're coming with it. Just accept, and that's something that Roy said. Arsenal may be in a title race, but what evidence do we have that they can actually take the next step to win the title? Just accept that maybe they should have invested more in the squad, and maybe they were just second best in Liverpool. I just don't like the excuses because, like you said, you and the person in the comments, who I'm convinced is the same person, that title race was over long before all their injuries, so give Jackie jacket.
Yeah, man, so lovely discussion.
Yeah.
Exceptional show, I think.
Yeah.
We do thank our viewers for watching.
I must say before we close though, I know you had a tough football week, but it must have been hard with the tough football week to create an agenda where you had to focus on 2 of the tough results that you had. But you're a real trooper. You really face up and Yeah. But I'm sure it's made easier by the fact you're going to be lifting that trophy in the season, right?
Yeah, I already have a little time home from work, our trip at any. I serious. I actually told the.
Aren't you serious?
I was not serious, joking, but it was a joke because my superior, one of them is a Juventus fan.
Oh.
So we started to have a little bit of banter, and I said to him, give me that 2 weeks. I start June, early birthday present. Let me go across. But obviously, I'm just joking.
Are you just joking?
Well,
actually, if you didn't have that event coming up in August, I think you would do it.
Actually, here's the thing. If the UK was close to Barbados, that whole Trinidad,
okay. Fair enough.
I could come back unseen.
Fair enough.
I would definitely make it, but it's not feasible. But we'll see. We'll see. Sorry. But I will not. I will be watching vicariously through the actual Liverpoolians.
That's good.
Come true. All right. So thank you for joining us. We hope you view on YouTube. As always, thank you, Marissa, for your insight. Wonderful show. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Dugout Podcast on Instagram, the Dugout_PP.
Marissa Simone 91.
And Drew 9106.
Yeah. And continue to support, guys. So I'll see you again next time.